Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks, a channel where I walk you around and talk to you and show you various things that I find interesting or that I think you might find interesting, or just plain old pretty. Talk about pretty despite the infrastructure. You can see the Bridger Mountains over here. We are once again in Bozeman. I thought it had been a while, so I'd give you an update. That's the Bridger Mountains. You can see some weather sort of making its way out of the area. Had a little bit of rain last night. It is about 11:30 in the morning, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius. That's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And we are going to try a different route today than I've walked you around before in a different area of Bozeman. A little bit of different area. Off to the right here is the Gallatin County Fairgrounds. You can see some rodeo area, some big buildings over there. There's an ice rink in there, event centers, parking here, of course. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. But first, I'm going to flip you around to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Hold on just a second. Hold on to your handrails here. Hi there, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. I say co-discoverer because oftentimes I'm in places that I'm not an expert at, and I kind of wander around and depend on serendipity to find fun and interesting things. I'm going to flip you around again. 1, 2, 3. This is a channel where I talk pretty much the whole time. Something I enjoy. A lot of people enjoy it. I've tried going silent, and people have registered their preference for the sort of talking, I guess. So there's a lot of other channels out there that don't have talking, so and I've got a few of those that are recommended in the YouTube interface. But today we are in Bozeman, and it's October, kind of getting on towards late October, and we are starting off in what's known as the Cannery District. There used to be a big cannery out here, and you can see kind of that brick building over there. We're going to cross over into that area in just a second. That brick building was part of the original cannery, and over the last 15 years, the rest of this stuff, most of the rest of this has been built up and developed. There's a lot of interesting businesses back here, restaurants. There's a Mountain Sky or Lone Mountain Gymnastics. There's design studios, architects, brewery, and a distillery. And we're going to go take a look. And I like, they kind of kept the industrial theme. I'm going to have to unzip my jacket a little bit here. The sun is quite warm today, which is nice. And anyway, it's an interesting architectural area. And then we will loop over to the north side of Bozeman neighborhood. I'm going to see if I can get across this crosswalk here without getting run over. And I'll point out various things as we go. And then we're going to try and end up downtown. We'll see how it goes. So one of the things I want to point out is this artwork here. There's been, over the last 15 years, an effort to decorate sort of mundane things like electrical boxes and that sort of thing with something that's just a little bit more interesting. And we'll see various instances of that. I have not been to La Esquina. Esquina? I don't know how to say that. There's a cannery building. 7, I think, is a sushi place. The company, the hunting wear, outdoor wear, Sitka, is based out of here. And I think they're owned by the company, I want to say Thin Slate, but I don't think that's it. I think it's something else, one of those modern, breathable, waterproof fibers. You can see kind of what we're dealing with here. There's a wedding dress place over there. I'm gonna get out of the street here. Oh, something smells good. One of these restaurants smells amazing. There's an Epic Fitness Center. Across the street, I'll keep going this way. Across the road here, which I think is Oak, is the minor league, I don't know, single, quadruple A? I don't know, super minor league, pro-am, so mainly amateur, and it's the Bozeman, I guess the Bozeman Braves. But I might be getting that confused with Livingston. Here's another one of these electrical boxes. Sometimes it's art, sometimes it's historical photos. See the Bozeman Reds there. And then we've got, what do we got? Urban home design, and then Uphill Pursuits. You can rent climbing gears, backcountry ski gear, all kinds of stuff like that, as well as buy stuff there for outdoor type stuff, mountain type stuff. Oh yeah, Pizza Campagna across the way. That's probably what I'm smelling that smells so good. It's a nice little pizza store. In the distance, again, is the Bridgers. You can kind of maybe make out the M. I've walked that several times. And you can find that and other videos that walks that I filmed in the area on citywalksvirtualtours.com. Look at this beautiful colors that we're getting on the foliage. Here's Lone Mountain Gymnastics. They do swimming lessons and gymnastic lessons as well as team gymnastics. Our kids used to come over here and they have these sort of, toddler to young kids classes that they would do, which is all wonderful for helping them. Look at this car. It's got ski masks over the headrests. Kind of creepy. Hi there. I forget where I was. Oh yeah, City Walks Virtual Tours. You can search for videos by location and walk time. So check that out. Here's a Natural Baby Company, and then off to the left there is a coffee shop called the Daily Coffee Shop. I think there used to be, I'm not sure there still is one over by the college, MSU, Montana State University. And then here's Oak Street, and across this way is a fairly new fire center. I believe they have some police in there, and city office buildings. Pretty big and fancy, which makes sense for a burgeoning city like Bozeman. I can't really mention Bozeman without talking about the crazy real estate prices here. It's like a one-bedroom studio apartment, or not studio, one-bedroom apartment can go for like $500,000. I think it's one of the most expensive places in the country. Very fancy, very nice fire station here. And this is Rouse off to our left. I believe that's right. It's kind of a major north-south route on the eastern end of town. I'm going to go down a ways, and I think it's Tamarak up here, and I'll make a left and get away from some of those traffic sounds. I don't know, I think it started here, but Kenyon Noble is sort of a big, home improvement, but mainly contractor-based, focused hardware store, lumber, etc. I believe they started here in Bozeman, and they've grown and grown and grown. They have one over in Livingston. They have 2 or 3 here in Bozeman. Little places. And this is, I think, their lumber yard over here. There's another big lumber company, Simpkins Hallen. It's over beyond there. I don't know if we'll get over to that area or not. We'll see. This is Bozeman Public Safety Center, okay. And then beyond there, you can see some of the buildings of the Fairgrounds, that's what I want to say. This Rouse gets a lot of traffic, but it's also, it would have been expanded to, what is it, 3 lanes now, it's 2 lanes with a turning lane. But it's, because it's an older road, it's very much confined by houses. You can see these houses up here are right up against the road. And this, another part of the north side, so this will be downtown, kind of is mainly to the, facing this way to the right of Rouse. Cross over here. These folks right here live right on the corner. Across. Nice little flower garden though, wildflowers in here. Look at that. So we're on Tamarak and we're headed east. Look at these awesome colors. It has just been a beautiful fall. Every once in a while, we get a cold snap or a cold wet snap that comes in before the leaves change, and they just kind of fry the leaves basically, or freeze them up, and then they just turn brown and drop off instead of changing color. And this year it's been a super warm fall, super warm and dry. And this year we are getting a beautiful, beautiful set of colors. And I think we're going to cross Bozeman Creek here. Correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, I like to tell people, please let me know if you have a correction. Ooh, hold on, sorry. So there's a trail called Main Street to the Mountains, and it literally goes, I guess, from here up to, well, ideally up to the highlight area, the base there at Southtown. Look at this beautiful creek. And I didn't realize it came this far south. North, sorry. I don't know if it cuts back into some streets or not, or what. And then here, this company off to the right makes hyperspectral lasers, I think. Kind of interesting. Or imaging sensors or something. I can't exactly remember how they do it, but they grow these crystals, which is kind of interesting. I did some work for them, doing some filming over there. Maybe not for them, but for somebody. Anyway, we got a tour, and it was really interesting. Interesting stuff. So I'm going to keep coming down Tamarak. We're going to cross Wallace just because there's something I want to show you. A couple of things, really. I mean, this whole side of town is visually interesting in terms of architecture and buildings and character of the neighborhood. I'd like to share that. I think Simpkins Howlands is off here to the left. They have a big lumber yard. Across. You can see the bridgers down there. Up there, I guess. It's kind of an old industrial area. And a lot of those old buildings are still here. Miraculously. Like that old warehouse. And this old warehouse. I don't know what that's being used for right now. Maybe an artist studio or I don't know. Looks pretty rough on the outside, but that could be, the roof's really nice, so maybe it's just something they left on. An old caboose looking place. It's kind of shocking to me that these buildings have not been bought up, knocked down, and redone. I don't know what Starlight is, or was. Sign company, maybe? Anyway, this is the old train depot, and they don't do passenger service here anymore. I really wish they did, but I don't think there's the economics of it are tough. They do have a lot of, there's a lumberyard over there, and that's I-90, by the way, east-west route, Interstate 90, and oh, those bridges are beautiful. Anyway, there's talk of reinstating, I think it's the Hiawatha route, which would be passenger service through here. I'd love to see this old building rehabbed and used once again for that sort of thing. The pass, Bozeman Pass, which is kind of where we're looking at right now, the traffic levels there have just, I don't want to say exploded, but they've really just inflated. So every year there's more and more wrecks, there's more and more blockages. Last year in May, people were stuck up on the pass for like 15 hours or something, some crazy amount of time. You know, people that aren't used to driving in that area in bad conditions, including truck drivers who should be chaining up their rigs, don't chain up, and then they block the interstate, or somebody slides off or into the median, blocks the traffic, and it can get kind of sketchy up in there. This looks like a residence and maybe some commercial space back here. And I don't want to get in anybody's business, so I'm going to go back out to this main road. I'm going to cut through this little park, which is also an old warehouse at the end of it, where Polar Bears International, I believe, still has their offices. My wife, Traveling Mel, and I have done a fair amount of work for them over the years, and primarily filming with polar bears and that sort of thing. Jogger. Really nice people, really cool mission, really fantastic opportunity to go up there and observe those animals. They are just spectacular. If you would, I think the Traveling Mel site has a couple videos from up there back in the day, 10 or 12 years ago, must have been by now. And there's some other stuff in there too. Off to the left, we'll go past this grain silo. We talked about, I showed you grain silo last week in Livingston that's been converted to condos. I think there's a VRBO over in this one, but also used to be some artist studio space in there. As we get back out to Wallace here, off to the right, there used to be, I think it was a flour mill. And there, for, I don't know, 80 years, there was, all that was left was one corner with like 2 or 3 stories tall, just sort of propped up. And then they finally had to take that down in 2014, but apparently they're going to redevelop it now. I can't remember exactly what they were going to do with it, but I'm going to go down to this crosswalk and cross over, and then I'm going to show you this neat old house here, which is a historical place. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's a home as well, so I don't want to invade their privacy too much. We're in the brewery district. That's what it was. It was a brewery. This wasn't, but the old, not the mill. The old wall I was talking about was not a mill, it was a brewery, I think. And here's this grain elevator type place. One of my buddies rented a room in this lower, longer section, the second floor there. Looks like there's a coffee shop there now. So we are in what's referred to as the north side now. We'll see some older buildings, as well as some quirky new buildings, and some commercial development. Like this black and wood structures over there last 5 or 10 years. As we come up on Cottonwood. Some relatively new homes. Food truck of some sort. Taco Monte. Montana. Hi there. About got hit there. Gal looking at her phone. Anyway, it used to be a bakery, and that grain elevator, it was actually a mill, apparently. Coming up on Peach. Peach goes all the way over and turns into, what does it turn into? Well, it changes into something else as it crosses 19th. Cross over here. Wild Crumb. Oh, it smells good. We'll be starting to cover some new ground here as we get into this north side area. I mean, some old ground. Stuff we've covered before, but it should be a little interesting because so much has changed in the last, I mean, it just seems like every month there's something new popping up. We go on North Ida. It's a neat building here. I don't remember seeing that. And this will be mainly residential. Start to get some a mix of new, old, and refurbished buildings around here. Keep an eye on my time. And across Orange Street. It's kind of a cool building over here. As much as I'd like to go down there, I'm going to keep on. Because this is, I don't think we've been on North Ida before. It's kind of interesting. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier before I got distracted. Let me know your comments, corrections, thoughts, memories, whatever you'd like to share in the comment section of the YouTube channel. I would appreciate that. Love interacting with you guys, hearing your thoughts, hearing your stories, and adding info when I either leave something out or say something in error or mispronounce something. It's honestly, it's an honest mistake if I do make a mistake. I do try the best I can. Well, maybe not the best I can, but I do make an effort. Right? A lot of solar companies. Look at these little houses. So one of the reasons or the factors, I guess, of that I'm hearing are behind some of the difficulties around housing in this country and in this area is that builders are less incentivized to make small starter homes because they can get more. I guess it maybe costs them less, so they make more per square foot on big fancy homes, right? And so fewer and fewer starter homes get built. Fewer homes in general get built because it costs a lot more to build a big home. And then, so people at the bottom of the ladder, people just entering the market, young people typically, they can't afford a giant home. And so they're out of luck. Look at this big place. I don't know what the deal is, if it's an apartment complex or a single home, but it is massive. I think those things are connected. Maybe they're not. Very cool though, very quirky. Love it. Very artistic. Beautiful fall colors. So that's my little, I guess my perambulation, pontification, as I say sometimes. Although it's not really a pontification. Ooh, I will pontificate just a moment more. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we could somehow incentivize the market to favor or to go back a little bit towards single family homes, whether it's condos or duplexes or fourplexes or townhomes, that seems like it could be a helpful thing. All with the caveat of not an expert. Oh, the light is just wonderful today. You don't see that very often, a Hobie Cat sailboat. See pontoon boats. The nearest body of large open water is going to be Canyon Ferry Lake, and that's an hour or so away, more. So you don't see a lot of sailboats or big motorboats, really many motorboats at all. Fluffy dog. Sorry about that. Here we go. Let's go down this way a little bit. Such a pretty color. Tunnel of leaves and foliage. You can see some Halloween decorations out here and there. I guess that's next, it's a week from today, which tells you the exact date. My kids are getting to the age where they're looking at college, and their friends are at college, and some of my nephews are going to college this year, and it just reminds me of fall term, early mid-fall term in college, and I don't know how exciting that was. Of course, these days it's expensive, and honestly, I'm not even sure if it's required as much as it used to be. There's something about fall in general that is invigorating. I don't know if it's the sudden, quote unquote, sudden change of weather and change of our surroundings, but it's sort of invigorating and energizing. So downtown's a few blocks that way, crossing North Wallace again on East Davis, and I try to call out the streets as I go so that people who like to follow along on the maps can. Here. Amazing animals, crows. So intelligent. That building really fit that one in there. I like it. Oh my gosh, look at all these colors as we come up to Church Avenue. Just like Livingston, there's a lot of National Register of Historic Places buildings here in Bozeman with a lot of signs out. That's the Apollo Bush House. I love seeing these trees cascade down. There. coming up on the school here, and I don't like to film schools when kids are out, for obvious reasons, I think. So I'm going to go up here and make a left on, I guess, Lammy, and then we'll just kind of loop around. Hi. I love seeing kids out having a good time, running around. There's an electric bike. I've seen exponential growth in electric bikes here, even over in Livingston. I'm not so sure what it's like over here in Bozeman, but in Livingston they're all over the place, and people on regular bikes too. I don't know if it's surging, but it's definitely growing. And especially in Livingston, you can, unless you have to carry something really heavy, more than just a few days worth of groceries, then you can get anywhere you need to do, run almost all your errands with a bike or an electric bike. My caveat being people that ride their bikes on the sidewalk. That makes me unhappy. But I'm not going to pontificate on that because I've already pontificated for the day, and I don't want to over pontificate. Oh, this is interesting. Set up a little stage here. I wonder if Bozeman does a wonderful job of having a bunch of community events throughout the year. And who knows what's going on next here.
I said, do you guys ever think about this getting a
Lord, y'all. It's loud. All right, for those of you who've walked with me in Bozeman before, you probably recognize this green elevator. It's right over by, oh my gosh. What is their restaurant up here? It's been around here forever. Not forever, but since I've been here and before. Oh my gosh. The Tap House, maybe? I cannot believe I'm blanking on that. Anywho, Bozeman. Let me see where we are here. Ale Works, that's what it is. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that. Forgot that name. Great restaurant. A lot of fun there. Eaten there many, many times over the years, although not recently. Coming up on Main Street again. And we'll make a right here. Off to the left is the library, and straight ahead would be Pete's Hill. To the left of the library is Wembley Park. But we're gonna go down Main Street for a block or two. Here's Music Villa. If you play music and have any questions or want to buy stuff, it's a great resource here in town. The people in there are really nice, really helpful. I don't know if you noticed a lot of the political signs as we've gone. This is an election year, and we're coming up within a couple weeks of the election, and it's a big one. And I'm not going to talk about one side or the other or any of the issues, but just to let you know that's why the signs are out. I think I see more signs in Livingston than I've seen here today, actually. Coming up on our right is a restaurant, another side church here, that used to be the Garage, and it was a great restaurant, and it was owned by a company that owned the Garage and a place called La Paria, and now they've combined them, own the Soup Shack, and it's Shine, which says Beer Sanctuary. They have a bunch of beers on tap, but they sell burritos as well. And soups in the winter, particularly. Very good, very worth your time and palate. And then the Western Cafe has been here for decades and decades and decades. Well known for their breakfast. And it smells absolutely delicious right now, but it's a very small space as well. So there's often, on the weekends, there's often a line around there. And we have a Montana Angler fly fishing shop on the right here. So if you're into that, which if you ever come out here and you have an interest in trying it, you definitely should. I would highly recommend hiring a guide. They'll teach you what you need to know. They're typically very understanding and very patient for people that are new to the sport. I'm not particularly skilled, but what I do enjoy about it is just the level of focus. It's almost like a meditation. Very zen, and you're out in the fresh air on the water, and it's just a great way to spend a day. All right, we are back at Rouse here, corner of Rouse and Main. I'm going to end us up here and say thank you very much for joining me today on this city walk in Bozeman. We covered some new ground and a little bit of old ground. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Check out the website. Also, check out the other social, Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.